Welcome to Career Talk with Aditya. This is the second episode with conversation with mentees. And today we have with us Naman Paul. Naman, we'd like to hear about yourself. Feel free to introduce and
Uh,
then we'll start with the Q&A.
Hello everyone. So basically, I am a BSc Mathematical Science graduate from Keshav Mahavidyalaya College. I graduated recently in year 2020. So apart from that, I am pursuing my career in risk and the finance field. So I started my career with giving NCFM certifications and gaining knowledge. So apart from that, I have completed both the levels of FRM. So after that, now I am aiming for the CFA and I'm sitting for level 1 in November. So apart from that, I am a like rigorous, we can say I'm a hardworking student. I used to read a lot of books about basically life, about finance. So yeah, I am indulged in basically building my career in more of the finance side and like portfolio management, investment banking or this side. So that's my small introduction.
Okay. Naman, interestingly, even I had started my own career with NCFM certifications. And then I went on to pursue FRM, completed my FRM, and then started CFA. So I could see that
Okay.
reflection in you. Takes me to my old days,
That's a
feels
good point.
nostalgic. Thanks, buddy. So, yeah, what questions do you have for me today? Yeah.
So basically, like the main issue is like I can like say that it's a question for every fresher that has completed both levels of FRM. Like after giving the both levels, like what should be the next step in the field of getting a job for a fresher? Because as we know that in getting a job in the risk sector, even for a fresher is like a bit difficult, and there are not that openings in our country. Basically, if I can say, or maybe I don't know about that part also, that are there many openings. So the main part is what is the next step after completing the both levels that we should like pursue for getting the job? You're
Okay.
not audible.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. So I have two news for you, Naman. First thing is that during your college, you have completed your FRM. So that's a big achievement. Kudos on that.
Okay.
Because the exam is really difficult. And secondly, it is designed for those who have some experience in finance or risk management. However, students can pull it off with additional study, research, and reading books.
हाँ जी.
And you did that. So, congratulations. Secondly, it's not going to be easy. Somehow, I
Yeah.
was lucky enough that my college had campus placement, which was inviting investment banks. And one such investment bank was Deutsche Bank, which showed up on a placement panel, and they shortlisted me as soon as they saw FRM. So again, on the good part, there is high recognition when it comes to any investment bank that FRM is an absolute necessary when it comes to risk management in banks. But being a fresher and convincing a recruiter to recruit a fresher risk manager is going to be a bit difficult. However, can be done. I have so much instances where a lot of my friends who did their FRM during graduation and still made it investment banks in India, or one of my friends even flew off to Canada and is right now in Canada working through his FRM degree. So here are a few tips and tricks which you can do. First thing, network. I think more than just applying for your profile, which is quite unique, you need to network, show your credibility, and get through. So one way of doing
Okay.
is that LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a superior tool, and a lot of people don't know how to use LinkedIn. There needs to be a strategy, stepwise progress. You need to have a vision. Okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve through LinkedIn. So if I were you, what I would have done is that go on the search bar, type in risk management India, and go towards the content part or click on the post. So whoever is posting about risk management, all the similar posts would start showing up. Secondly, go towards recruiters page and see what kind of companies have showed up risk management requirement in the organization. And along with following the organization, search for HRs from these organizations. Connect with the HRs. Third thing is that professionals having FRM working in risk management targetedly connect with all these individuals and you'll find thousands and thousands. Secondly, while connecting, don't just connect. Have a small note talking about yourself that, hi, I'm Naman. I'm a passionate finance enthusiast. I've completed my FRM and I'm looking forward to learn what more can be elaborated or explored in the field of risk management. With this small note, you'll get to make an impact. Secondly, those who are FRM already will welcome this invite, and they might even lend you a hand of help. Okay, hey, what do you want to do, or do you want to work here? Third thing is that once you, let's say, connect, Don't leave it at that point. Take it ahead. Say that, hey, I'm new into this field. Can we connect for a quick conversation, just like you did with me? Drop them a message. Say that, hey, I want to take it ahead. I have some ideas in risk management. I have a research paper in risk management. I want to discuss it with you or want to have your inputs. So step by step, build your relationship with people on LinkedIn. And once your relationship is built in, maybe after 2 or 3 meetings, ask them politely that, hey, do you know any opportunity that is fit for me where I can work or I can contribute? That would be ideal approach of using LinkedIn. A lot of people just connect and then apply, or maybe just drop in a text saying, hey, I want to work or help me with a referral. That doesn't take you anywhere. Even if it does, minute probability of going in your favor. Second thing, live example. I had a friend who completed FRM and then completed CFA and started literally calling up friends. Her name is, she was in my Fintry classes. So Fintry is one of the tuitions I had joined in. And
Okay.
whatever classmates she had, they were all working. So she had contact numbers. So when she was completed, she called up, around 50 people a day. And within a week, she had around 2 to 3 leads. And through these leads, she actually landed a job in Credit Suisse. So that is one
Okay.
way of going ahead. Third thing is carry on passively, keep applying. One thing you can do is maybe start small. If you know any small firm which is into risk management, or maybe any AMC which has a risk management unit, you can start there as well. The conversion probability of conversion changes if you're planning to work with a startup. The probability of conversion is higher. If you target a brand, maybe out of 100, maybe 10 will give you an interview, and maybe 2 or 3 would shortlist you. So yeah, it's all numbers games. You have to be patient, but during this phase, you have a lot of value. Your future is bright, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so the another question is like, if I go to LinkedIn's and if I go to the job opening part, and there are like jobs in the American Express or some big companies for the risk management, the main issue is like, even if they're entry level, they ask for softwares like SAP, SAS, Python, R. So I want to know about that. Which programming should be like the parallel along with these risk management basically? Some say it can be Python or R. Some say no, you should know a little bit of SAS also, a Tableau, or basically you should like have a big data knowledge also. So I wanted to clear about that part too.
Good question, Naman. So this is actually the requirement of industry in current time. Maybe 4 5 years before this, all these technicalities or maybe softwares weren't necessary. But today the thing has happened is there's not much lag allowed. If you are given work, the primary expectation is that you provide real-time support, and to do so you need to analyze data quickly. Let's say you have portfolio of 3 to 4 trading desks, and someone asks you, okay, give me risk-weighted asset of some XYZ entity, and what's the change in the collateral or what's change in exposure. Now out of 300 400 entities or trades within your portfolio, how would you narrow down that to when you're on a call? You have 5 to 10 seconds to respond back. Tableau, ClickView, all these are analytics tool. I used to work on Tableau and ClickView when I was in Deutsche Bank, and lucky enough, I got to learn it during my work. But nowadays, it's like prior necessity. And what you can do is that you can always start with SQL. SQL is data management 101, and being
Yeah,
in the
I
risk
have
side,
learned about it.
you have learned SQL. Great.
Just a semester in the college. So there was a semester in my college. So all that was based on SQL, basically computer. I had a computers. So every semester there used to be a new language. It was Python, then SQL, then a little bit of R. So like it's like a basic foundation, and then we can
Okay.
pursue it for ourselves further.
That's really great. If you know SQL already, you're one step ahead. Then you can directly start with R and Python. And Python, I would keep it on a later end. I think R is
Okay.
more relatable when it comes to FRM or having knowledge of statistics.
Okay.
Python goes more towards coding and programming. But
Yeah. Yeah.
again, it's subjective. If you like it, it's really
Hmm.
good. If no, it's not really necessary if you want that job. Let's say you are an FRM and you don't have this, not necessary you wouldn't land a job. You will land a job, but it's just that you have additional requirements which will fit you in a role of a business analyst. As a business analyst, you need to know the technicalities. Business analyst integrates risk management with technical support softwares or tools used in risk management. But if you are in an investment bank where you are working in a pure risk management or decision making role, uh, the softwares are designed in such a way that anyone can use it. the basis is always, data is managed through SQL only. And all the models or simulations run through these tools, but they are designed in such a way that even the coders know that, bankers are going to use it and they don't know ABC of technical world. It's not an absolute necessity, but it will be really helpful if you know these three languages, SQL, R, and Python. One more thing I would suggest you is that, let's say you are more inclined towards working on Excel risk models, or even, let's say, valuation models, given that you are pursuing CFA, then on
Yes.
that part you can learn advanced Excel. Through advanced Excel, I mean functions such as stock history or having dynamic charts help you, analyze data in a better way. Second thing you can do is learn a Power
Macros.
BI. It's a visualization tool, but it really helps you to convert, dashboard, Excel dashboard into a better visualization dashboard. And third thing you can do is, learn around how the simulation and technicalities back-end work. Not necessarily every time you need to know the tool, but mere logic of how the calculations
Mm-hmm.
are done will help you crack the interview. So, yeah.
Recently I talked to someone in the Mumbai. So basically, what they said that he was a person with 12 years of experience in finance industry. So there was like a word like they said that you should come to Mumbai because the opportunities in Delhi are not that great for the field of finance, risk also, but finance too. So is that a right thing, or is there like a something that he also don't know about this industry, or is what is the like what was basically the what's the right answer for that?
Uh, that's sadly that's true, buddy.
Subjective.
Business happens where market is. In India, market is in Mumbai.
Yeah,
So that was the
yeah,
correct
sure.
information. And one more thing, addition to this. So it depends on number of profiles and which profile you are targeting. And fortunately or unfortunately, have you gone to BKC, Bandra Kurla complex?
No.
No. Okay. If you get time, if you visit Mumbai by any chance, do visit BKC. You'll get a mini Wall Street feeling. You will see every single US, European bank, though it be Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Credit Suisse. Everyone is having their front office set up in BKC
Okay.
and nearby areas. Even Deutsche Bank has their front office in Mumbai. So yeah, that is where the market is there. That is the place where a lot of investors are. So business happens there. You have more profiles, and people like you will be a better fit in those profiles. Even on the Pune side, Bangalore side, or Delhi side, you have very less, front office roles. You mostly have middle office and back office roles, which again, it's up to you whichever role you prefer. Each role has its pro and
So
con.
after like doing FRM, like what type of roles are basically the most suited ones? The front end, back end, or middle end? I'm like not that much you like know about all these things. So I want to clear about that. And moreover, the thing is like, is there anything like you should only get a job in the risk sector for the charter clarity, or it can be a finance sector job also, like financial analyst or like something like that?
Okay. Yeah, the world of risk management is a bit dynamic in this sense. First, I'll answer your first question. What kind of roles are there for risk managers? Okay. So let's say within an investment bank, there is no front end for risk management. There is a role called as CRO, Chief Risk Officer.
Yes.
He will be the one and only ultimate decision maker in that world. But there is no front end, there is no client whom you're serving. So it comes down to your proficiency and your competence over this risk management and rather risk optimization structure. And the way risk management works is, let's say you have trading desks. You have a trading desk in Japan, Mumbai, Singapore, and each desk is given some limit, let's say 150 million. And during your monthly trades, you're not allowed to cross that. Directors of this trading desk and traders are constantly in touch with risk managers saying that, hey, I'm about to execute this trade. How much limit am I utilizing in terms of exposure or RW? And again, this is in sense of credit risk. Market risk is just more of estimation. When we talk about VAR, value at risk, it gives you worst case scenario, or maybe 5%
Yeah.
confidence scenario, but it's not that critical. It is used for analysis, some measure, but not real time concern. Credit risk is, from my perspective, more of a strong concern. Now, in this world, you need to know the language, and it's always going to be analytical role. So you will be an analyst, maybe senior analyst, manager. Post that will grow into role of AVP or vice president of risk, and then managing director or CRO in that way. Now, let's say you're working with a firm which is providing risk management services to others. Then the whole structure of front, mid, and back office comes into picture. And then
Okay.
you would, in the front role, you would need to, explain. And in this world, your clients would be AMCs, asset management companies. They have their investment structure in place and they want some help in terms of risk management. And they have approached you. Okay, hey Naman, this is our portfolio. Can you analyze what the risk is? So now you're representing your firm, you're in the front end, your revenue structure, everything will be different. So in that sense, the dynamics change. But again, coming down to the role part, it will always be analytical in nature. And one thing you need to understand is that risk in itself was supposed to be, or is rather, a cost function. When a business works, some services, products you sell gives you revenue, but cost functions are mainly accounting or risk management, which are more to do with compliance rather than giving you additional revenue. So on the good part, cost functions are highly in demand in India. So you would see a lot of accounting and risk management tools in India. But on the other part, the growth and dynamics of the role take a hit when they are restricted to the regulations and compliance part, given that they are cost functions for the business.
What about the another question that I asked?
Oh, sorry, I missed it. So your second question was?
So basically, what I asked, like exactly, the FRM, or basically the GAP says that for a charter, basically you need a basically risk management also. It's like a confusion that it should be like the job which I land in, it should be a proper risk sector field, or if it can be a profile related to financial analyst or something like that too.
Okay, got it.
And that can work as a charter, because we all know that there is a 5 years time bounding for getting the charter.
Yeah, so that's a good thing you mentioned. A lot of people don't know there's a time requirement. You need to complete your experience within that time.
5
I guess it's
years.
4 or 5 years.
It's 5 years. Within 5 years, we need to have a minimum 2 years of work in the field.
Right. And so coming down to your requirement, now I'll talk about the charter and then maybe I'll talk about the industry. For charter,
Okay.
whatever you have learned in your FRM curriculum, any role that utilizes the knowledge you have learned is applicable and will get you the charter. So let's say when you are
Okay.
not in the risk function, but you are in a function where you are valuing bonds, you are analyzing derivative trades. You had in part one, you had valuation and capital markets
Yeah.
subject. So anything related to that helps you with the knowledge of risk world or valuation world or whatever part of curriculum is a relevant experience. But again, the final call
Okay.
would be of institute. It's just my perspective, my take on this. But I have seen people who are working in the financial analysis part, not necessarily the core risk part, but have still received in FRM charter. So that shouldn't be a big concern. And secondly, when it comes to industry again, what I've seen is that I was discussing this with one of the traders in Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank has two offices in Mumbai, Goregaon, and then BKC, and he handles communication between both. And he himself is a big fan of FRM certification. He
Okay.
analyzes derivatives and bond valuation for a trader from the pricing part, and he actually leveled up after pursuing FRM. He was pursuing FRM part 2, and a lot of stuff he didn't knew. Even he was working, he learned from the curriculum and is now applying during his role. So beyond risk, he's a big fan that he always says that whoever is getting into bond valuation or whoever is getting into derivatives part of the industry needs an FRM in today's world. There are some topics which are part of CFA level 3 and that are taken,
Yeah.
taken to
In
FRM
FRM
part
part
1.
one.
Exactly.
Yes, I
You
know.
have swap valuations, interest rate swap valuations,
It's
and a
like
lot of.
black shows is know about black
Exactly.
shows in the level number, but in CFA they are taught in the level 3. And there are many things like valuation of FRA that we are used to study in FRM part 1, but recently I got to know that valuation of FRA is in level 2 of CFA.
Yes, exactly. So this certification is high in demand. I'm happy that youngsters like you are pursuing it, and it's going to take you place. Might take some time given that you're a fresher, but it will take you places.
It's like recently when like I used to connect on people on LinkedIn and I used to talk about them. So there was a person who is also a charter holder of FRM. So he's in Deloitte. So I talked to him. So he said that what like the the actual process should be like before getting a start, before getting started with doing the F1 level 1, you should either after level 1 or either before level 1, you should have a job in your hand. And like you were late in doing that part, so you should have been not given the FRM. That's what he was saying indirectly, that you should be like not be that hasteful in doing the level 2, you should have wait. So is that also a right part? So because I have completed the both levels, but if I feel that if through this session we can help someone, so it will be a like good call.
Okay. Yeah, this is one concern, one of the places I had applied earlier, after clearing FRM, they called me overqualified. And I just
Yeah,
wondered how I was
I have listened that word for me, that you are giving CFA now, you have completed FRM and you are like starting the coding, you are like getting overqualified for your like the experience part, so you should get into a job. So I was like, I am applying for a job, but I am getting one, ain't getting one, so I can't help in that part. I should be completing my qualifications too now. I can't stop that.
I completely understand this, buddy. Just like last week, I was discussing this with one of my friends at HSBC. He is an FRM and he actually recruits a lot of FRMs. And through his experience, he told me that whoever has completed, both FRM parts or CFA level 2, work with them for around 6 months or an year, given that they don't offer very lucrative package. So they quickly take up an experience and they move on to company which offers better money. And through this process, he has realized that he won't be recruiting these guys now. They'll only restrict themselves to level 1, CFA level 1 or FRM part 1. Now, it's subjective approach. Again, being part of a cost function and employers requiring that long-term commitment. Now, in today's world, long-term commitment is 2 years or
Yeah,
3 years. But still,
yeah,
they expect that. And in this process, one thing I've realized that it's hard truth, but sometimes you have to take it off your CV. Like
okay,
there are roles which were so one role I was applying for is consultant in nature, and there's no requirement of risk management over there. They require some kind
okay,
of finance background, and CFA level 1 gives me that. There is specially curated CV for each role I have right now, and I always add or subtract stuff which is not necessary, and that's the hard truth. But again, it is a subjective call you have to take. Let's say you don't want to take it off, but again, at your point, being a fresher, it might again give a very wrong impression. Having too many stuff, again, the
yeah, yeah,
overqualified
yeah.
concern. That's the bias we have at hand. So one thing is that when you go through the network or you're going through a referral, you always talk about the expectation of a candidate. A lot of time, leaders or companies are looking for people whom they can groom and grow with them. So getting in a guy who's already learned everything and who doesn't need further grooming, or he's already an expert, is not welcome. So
Okay,
even during your interview, again getting the shortlist, it's a tricky process. A bit of luck involved, but a lot of hard work required as well. Curate accordingly and always understand the requirement. It's not about. I wish that it was about who you are, but apparently it's not. It's about what they want or what they require. And currently the demand supply thing in India is way off the charts. Too much supply and too less demand. So you need to adjust on the supply side. You need to cut back, fit the role. But this concern is going to be for just another 2 or 3 years, buddy. Post you will be fitting into the industry average, industry benchmark. Currently, industry benchmark right now in India is around 8 to 10 lakhs for FRM charter holders. They receive that much. And secondly, the growth is splendid for FRMs. In Deutsche Bank, we had even as a fresher, I wasn't put into the core team. I was part of a balance sheet reporting team, which took the numbers
okay,
from risk team and just reported it. And I
okay,
had to fight my way through. And one big case I had, that I'm an FRM, not just FRM, one of the youngest FRMs in India or maybe globally. And I know all this, so let me work on it. And then they considered my plea, and then I worked in the team. And then how I got the real exposure of risk management, how Monte Carlo simulation works, how we can bootstrap things, how collateral affects the
okay,
exposure. A lot of things came in with experience, and that helped me go ahead. But the first break is always the tricky one.
okay. I will
Cool.
like follow these studies, follow
Sure.
these tips.
Do you have any other
Okay.
questions for me?
No, no, no. That was my all the queries.
Cool. I'll timing then stop the recording, and we'll
Okay.
start.